My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. Next up at UFC on ABC2, we have Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman versus Mateusz Gamrot. Nick, I'm going to let you go first. You were on a collision course with Scott Holtzman for a while there. You were the XFC champion, the undefeated at the time, undefeated in the XFC, and Scott Holtzman was also barreling through the XFC, but then we left to go elsewhere. What are your thoughts here? Who do you think wins this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I usually don't root for Scott Holtzman, and I probably won't, because I left XFC to go get literally 4 times as much money in WSOF because I wanted to move out of my mom's house and actually move on with my career. So he acted kind of like a douchebag, so I didn't really appreciate that. I mean, I guess time heals all wounds, but he is a good fighter. I mean, when you look at Gamrot, you have someone that was a good enough grappler to qualify for Abu Dhabi and was undefeated at 17-1 with some pretty solid wins mixed in there. I think Gamrot's good all around. His last fight, he did have trouble getting it down and keeping it there. And I think that he will run into the same problems again. I mean, Holtzman's kind of old. He's like almost 38 years old. So he's up there. And but he's fought some really good guys and won a lot of those fights. The loss versus Nick Lentz was a wrestler, so that kind of has given me like maybe Gamrot will win this. But he's had some really good fights, especially with Josh Emmett, wins over Jim Miller. He got knocked out cold by Beneil Dariush, but he got kind of caught with a trap there. I don't think Gamrot has that striking the same as Dariush. I think he's a very good fighter, but I think he's going to have trouble getting into the ground, and Holtzman's going to win this fight with dirty boxing, and I actually do have him in my lineup.
Oh, so you're going Scott Holtzman. Wow.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. So I think, obviously, we mentioned Gamrot's grappling is phenomenal. He's a legitimately good grappler on the world level. He was the double champ in KSW in that promotion. He was the 45-pound champ and the 55-pound champ. So he's fought some solid people. He's got an unbelievable record. It is a tricky fight to pick for sure, especially because Scott Holtzman just moves forward and tries to force things. And I don't know how that will work with Gamrot style, but it's definitely an interesting one. So Dan, I mean, what are your thoughts here? How do you see this going?
Yeah, no. So first of all, Gamrot trains down at ATT. So I know, I've heard from guys down there, he is a workhorse. So he's putting his time in the gym. He's getting better. I mean, he was already great, but he's still working hard every day. But I'll start with Holtzman because, when I first saw the matchup, I was like, oh, this is going to be an easy fight for Gamrot. And when I watched Holtzman, I was like, man, this guy's a good striker. He's got good head movement. He does leave his chin up a little bit, but boxing wise, he's got great counter shots, a nice counter right hand, just very, very crisp striking. And even in his last fight against Dariush, early in the fight, his takedown defense looked good. Like Dariush struggled to get him down. So I was like, oh shit, this is like looking to be a tough matchup. He ended up getting cracked with the spinning elbow, but that's against Dariush, who's unbelievable. So, and then he also fought Jim Miller, won a unanimous decision. He looked really good in that fight. He got some takedowns, top control. He was winning all the striking exchanges, had 3-round cardio. So, I was impressed with what I saw on tape from Holtzman. And then looking at Gamrot, so, he lost his UFC debut after being 17-0. But in watching that fight, I think that spoke, first of all, a lot of people say he won that fight. It was very close. He definitely won the third. The second was super tight. I think he got dropped with like the first punch of the round. So that probably just made it impossible for him to come back and win that round. But anyways, he lost a split there that a lot of people thought he might have won. But what I will say is he is an aggressive grappler. So he struggled to get takedowns against Kutateladze. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was more impressed with how good Kutateladze was than disappointed with Gamrot in the loss. Kutateladze looked good. He trains with Khamzat Chimaev. So you know the guy's getting good looks at wrestling and is prepared to defend takedowns. And even being so, with Gamrot struggling to get them early, by the third round, he got, I think, 3 or 4 takedowns in that round. So he's relentless with the takedowns. He doesn't stop. He can do it for 3 rounds. And I think that'll be the difference. I think early on in this fight, he's going to have a tough time taking Holtzman down. And he probably could even get hit with some big shots early on. But I think eventually he gets the takedown and wears on him. And once he starts getting them, he's going to take over the fight. I could see him winning by a finish in the second or third via submission. He's got great leg locks. But I just think the relentless wrestling is going to be the game changer in this fight. And I think he's going to dominate definitely in the later rounds against Holtzman and could get a finish. So I'm taking Gamrot. I'm putting him in my lineup. And yeah, he's my pick.
Yeah, I have him in my lineup as well. So I agree with all of that. I think the grappling will be the differentiator. I'm hoping he doesn't wait till rounds 2 and 3 to make it happen, but I do think that'll be the difference there. So Jacob, you shook your head. What are your thoughts?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So initially I was kind of on the same page as a couple of you. I watched Holtzman and I thought, man, he's very, very good. And then I saw the nickname. You took my nickname, the hot sauce. I'm like, this is going to be the lock of the week. I was like, so when I break down lock of the week, I have it in my mind, this guy or girl could be the lock of the week. Let me go through the process, that lock of the week, very rigorous process of breaking it down step by step. So I started thinking, how can he lose? And Scott Holtzman can lose to grapplers. He's got good takedown defense. I thought he did fine versus Lentz. Lentz took him down, but he got back to his feet. I thought he did okay. But that seems to be the weakest part of his great game because he's a very good striker. He's a very good fighter, but it seems like he can get taken down. And Gamrot's takedowns, the timing of his takedowns when I watch his takedowns are incredible. And the fact that he doesn't even need to like run the pipe and run people against the cage and then try to work for a takedown. He is so quick with his takedown and timings. He is grabbing ankles and just taking people down in the middle of the octagon. That's how quick he is. So I think that Holtzman, yeah, his takedown defense is good when it's against the cage and he can really set up that takedown defense. But in the open mat, I think Gamrot's grabbing ankles and controlling this fight. So originally Scott was going to be the lock of the week, and I flipped all the way to the other side, and Gamrot is in my lineup, and I think he wins the fight.
Yeah, wow, what amazing insight into how you pick the lock of the week. So sure of it.
I thought you were going to go through like the process, like, all right, underdog, check. Cool nickname, check.
The people know the process.
I think that's it, right? That's where
he needs to check their physique.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Instagram,
abs,
Twitter.
check. Yeah. Anyway, this will be an interesting one. All except Nick going with Gamrot, and Nick is the one with the beef. So very interesting pick. We'll see how this one goes.
I hope I'm wrong.
Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.